Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. Today is a news drama video in the world of Magic the Gathering, and there's distribution for Magic and Pokemon and everything. And I want to give you all an opinion and kind of make sure everyone's informed of what's actually going on here. So this is in regards to Alliance Game Distributors. Some people call them just AGD, but it's Alliance Game Distributors. The Diamond Comics thing, the whole bankruptcy, this and that, restructuring, all this going on. They're selling the distributor. There was a buyer lined up. So, some wild news just dropped. Apparently, Wizards of the Coast, Magic the Gathering, and Dungeons and Dragons and everything, is essentially banning and cutting ties and getting rid of the entire distributor. Now, just so you guys know some history here, in the past, like in the earlier days, Alliance was considered like the largest gaming distributor with partners. The whole Diamond Comics Alliance, like this Goliath was deemed like the largest tabletop distributor. And now in 2025, this whole thing and bankruptcy and this distributor, and I've told you guys, we did some videos in the past about how this company was ran, my communications and conversations over the years with some of the higher ups of these companies. And just, it's, again, half the people I probably talked to that were higher ups are probably not even working there anymore. And the people that probably are gone that I did talk to, these people were stupid. Like, they were the dumbest fucking Timmies you'd ever see. And you're like, these are the people at high up positions. Now, again, I'm going to tell you there's a 99% chance the people I talked to 2 years, 4 years, 5 years ago, they're probably not there. So, yeah, the news came out. I'm like, that Wizards has no plans to even let them continue to buy Magic and distribute Magic the Gathering with Alliance. And then Alliance replied and said, you do realize this is like 40% of the entire company's revenue. So hang on. The company's trying to sell itself and restructure. The new buyer claims they were not aware. And as they were doing this, apparently they knew this was coming. So I'm trying to understand the timing of all this. So we're gonna have to see what happens with the courts and legal stuff, because all this stuff is allegedly because of he said, she said. And I'm looking at this going, hang on. So this company knew they were butting heads and having problems with Magic and Wizards? And was that the reason they filed like bankruptcy protection and restructuring to lay off and restructure? But then were they trying to sell the company to cash in based on their earnings and profit from the last few years and the COVID boom to kind of lock in to sell the company for the most possible before this thing imploded? Did they know before or after? Like, there's so many questions now. But I just want to explain what this means for you all. When Wizards does this, they're fucking serious. If Wizards says they're cutting off a distributor and they're not renewing, we don't want you to carry Magic. Like, when Wizards does this, like, they don't joke around. Like, there's a lot of memes and things on this YouTube channel, stepsisters, jokes, and washing machines, and Rudy the repairman, and Rudy's hair, and all these things we joke about is one thing. But understand, ladies and gentlemen, when Wizards of the Coast says, nah, bro, we're done, understand. You guys remember 5 years ago? How long ago was it? 7 years ago? You guys remember around 5 years ago? ACD had the same thing. Apparently, ACD got caught selling or moving things and doing things they should have done with Magic the Gathering products and sealed product. And Wizards, I guess, found out. Something happened. The whole thing imploded. The distributor tried suing Wizards, saying you can't do that. Wizards says it's our shit. We'll do whatever we want. Long story short, they didn't sell Magic. Wizards cut them off. And it was a massive blow to ACD. Now, ACD distribution is still around, but they just... If you lose Pokemon, if you lose Magic the Gathering, those two are the foundation of the tabletop world. If you're a major distributor and you lose those two entities, the ability to move forward, as they say in Wall Street, you are now a going concern. The ability to have margins and growth and risk and up and downs and the different cycles of the economy, bull market, bear market, like, you have to have Magic and Pokemon to survive in the tabletop world. If you lose those, it's beyond nuclear devastation. So, now, this whole thing's coming out, and there's all this shit swirling of who said what. Well, how long did you know? Magic, you were trying to sell your company? You wanted us to buy it, and you're getting ready to get banned from Magic and Hasbro and Wizards, and you weren't going to tell us? Oh, we just found out. We didn't. Dude, it is a shit show. I want everyone to be aware of this, because over time, the next 6-12 months, we'll know the truth based on court documents and legal things. Is 99% chance it's all going to go through courts, discovery, it's going to be all kinds of public shit. So until we find out the details, I just want to report to y'all, it's fascinating, because I think the thing that caught my attention was a PR person for Wizards of the Coast said, in an era where all distributors are ordering more Magic and doing better and better with increasing revenue and sales of Magic the Gathering, Alliance Game Distributors was the only distributor ordering equal and less than the past. Now, that one sentence from that public PR WotC employee, or whoever they are, human relations, public relations, I don't know, toilet relations, whatever, that one comment told me everything I needed to know. Essentially, Rudy's opinion, it sounds like to me, Southern, GTS, Peach State, MagX, I guess that's really about it now. Are we going to be down to that? So ACDs doesn't do Magic. If Alliance loses Magic, so we're down to Southern, Peach State, GTS, and MagX, right? Magazines? Wow. So from 6 down to 5, down to 4 major distributors. So now, if you are a store that relied on Alliance for Magic, this is a big fucking deal for you, and you're in trouble. You better be rushing to try to get accounts or do something and figure out what you're going to do. This is a big deal. Now, for people like me, who use all the distributors and have accounts and done all this shit for 10, 20 years, it's not really going to impact me. Because what I expect to happen is, let's say there's an even 1,000 collector boxes for Basement Rudy. Well, if every distributor gave me an equal 200 collector boxes, well, if Alliance goes to 0, I would expect the other 4 distributors to each get that share divided up equally, and then those numbers would adjust and raise. So for most stores who have access to multiple distributors, I don't expect an overall net total to shift higher or lower on Magic. Like for me, I believe, at least is what I was told, I'm either number 1 or number 2 and the largest buyer of Magic play boxes in the United States. On average, I probably buy and sell and keep, I would say on average, 3,000 to 6,000 play boxes a month of Magic the Gathering. I don't know anybody else out there that's moving more than 6,000 play boxes in a month. Now, last month, with Dragon's Dark Here, oh God, I'm old. Call me out, guys. On Tarkir Dragonstorm, last month alone, I sold 6,000 boxes of Tarkir Dragonstorm, plus almost 3,000 regular standard play boxes to patrons and stuff. So last month alone, I did almost 10,000 play boxes, to give you guys an idea of the volume and the money that's going on with this stuff. So I wanted to at least explain to you all what's going on with this, because it's definitely going to end up in courts and lawsuits, and it's definitely going to be, all about, in legality terms with intents and torts, and, did they have the intention to deceive? Was there the intent to sell a business knowing that it was about to implode? It's going to come down to stuff like that, and that's going to have to probably be done in a courtroom. That's kind of my opinion at this point, with Alliance, Diamond Comics, the owners, who's going to be involved, who's buying, who's selling. But yeah, that's a really big deal, because yes, I do use Alliance Game Distributors. I've had an account with them for 15 years. I've been with them a very, very long time. Now, I don't spend a lot of money with them, because like I told you guys in the videos in the past, through the last 5 years, I've slowly moved more and more away. So I don't buy much from Alliance because, well, their service is really rough. The way they do pricing and relationships is just pretty awful. And the turnover of employees and sales reps and everything is just pretty rough. It's not a polished company like some of the other guys are. So to hear this type of, I don't want to say corruption, but bait and switch sounding thing, like this news of Wizards cutting off them, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, are they even filling the Final Fantasy products? Are they getting an extension? Are they going to fill Edge of Eternities? What about the rest of the year? Like, when is the cutoff? How many stores have pre-orders? What about WPN store? I mean, dude, there's a million questions on this kind of thing. Then, of course, there's things that I'm not going to talk about publicly, but it comes down to, I'll give you a hint, I'm just going to say this one line and then I'm going to move on. Does Alliance, how do I say this without giving away? Does Alliance game distributors, are they carrying a balance with Wizards of the Coast on a pretend line of credit? So that's all I'm going to say there. So, all right, moving forward, what this means is overall, the end consumer, most of you guys out there, you're never even going to know something's going on. There's not going to be much of a change. For the thousands of LGS's stores, business owners, brick and mortars, internet stores, basement dwellers, whoever you are, a lot of people are going to be impacted by this. The average LGS, from at least my experience in the last 20 years, usually has 1 or 2 distributors. It's very rare that they work with a lot. Because remember, if you have, everyone just says, well, work with all of them. Okay, well, if you're not going to spend much money, you're not going to have, there's not really going to be a relationship. You can't, if you have 4 distributors and you're placing orders for $1,000 of each one, it's pretty stupid. Where if you get to a point where you need the most as possible and you're spending millions, then it's a different conversation. That's what's going on, everybody. I just want to make this short video, let everybody know. Just make sure y'all are informed that there is a shakeup going on. There will be product being rerouted starting probably at Final Fantasy or after Final Fantasy or Edge of Eternities or something. Maybe Spider-Man universes. I'm not sure. But there's going to be rerouting of products. And that will probably hurt some LGSs. And it could excel and help other LGSs. I would expect the other 2 largest, the other 4 distributors, in general, they should all be getting more Magic product. Play boxes, commander decks, specialty collector boxes, pre-release deck. Like all of these accounts and these hubs should be getting more supply. I don't know how they're going to divvy it up. I don't know how they're working the numbers. I'm not really surprised that Alliance continues to have business problems. Remember, folks, companies are only as good as the people who run them. Always remember that, okay? Sales reps and regular people, packing and shipping, warehouse, these people may come and go, turnover, they get caught for stealing, they get fired, and there's always things like that, but the higher ups is really what dictates long-term success or failure of a business. And this whole Diamond Comics Alliance thing, my instinct is this thing is far more deep and complicated than any of us are ever going to know. Because these companies are big, they've been around a long, long time, and there's probably a lot of behind-the-scenes secret things, bad things, good things, unbelievable things that have happened the last 5, 10, 20, 30 years that we're never going to know. And I think there's probably going to be some of those things from the past that are going to play a part in whatever happens with this outcome and the people involved. And it'll be fun to watch. Who knows how it's going to unfold, but I just wanted you all to be aware. It's it's not very often in our lifetime that we're going to see Magic drop a distributor. Wizards of the Coast does not change. They don't add distributors. They don't fire distributors. Like this kind of stuff, it happens like once every 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Like in the last, 10, 15 years, ACD was dropped from Wizards of the Coast. That's the only, this has only happened one time in the last, 20 years? I mean, this is very rare stuff. So that's all I have. Hope you guys have a beautiful day out there. Just want to make sure everybody's informed of it. Definitely, we'll see what the side effects are, right?